Shalom and good day all. This is Healing29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering Night Terrors, Issue 3, Robin, and Shazam. I'll now get things organised for the first one that I'll be covering for this video. And for the first one that I'll be covering, we have Night Terrors Issue 3 by Joshua Williamson, which sort of follows the main storyline for this particular story. And first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Not really a lot. I do wish they sort of like chose some better images to sort of like help depict some of the things that is happening with this story, to which I give the cover a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art as we look around the beginning, middle, and the end of the story. And also So as the story begins, we end up having, of course, Deadman, who's in Batman's body, along with Wesley Dodds, and they're facing up against the villain or the enemy, and Insomniac's basically his little horde of I guess minions. As we go a little bit further in the story, we end up having Damian Wayne actually catching up with Deadman. And as I point out again, I feel that this is meant to be like a bit of a love letter. Thank you towards Neil Adams for creating the character of Deadman. We, of course, move towards the end of the story, to which we get to learn a little bit more with Deadman's own story of how death came to him, and also with him eventually coming across the Nightmare Stone. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first, do we get any comic book references? To which we do, to which we get a comic book reference to the Free Comic Book Day, Night Terrors Issue 1. The next is the area of time, to which isn't really addressed. Next is the location of we go to the Hollow and also the House of Horrors, and it's hard to know if this is still taking place in Gotham or not. The key cast of characters consisting of Deadman, Wesley Dodds, Damian Wayne Robin, and last but not least, Insomnia. For the overall story rating, I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Night Terrors Robin. So, jumping in, the first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? Not really a lot, to which I give the cover a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art, to which we'll have a look around the beginning, middle, and end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we get the location that we get the location of being in Tim Drake's nightmare and Jason Todd's nightmare, until we sort of like get a bit of a merging of the two later on. So we get to see some of the things that are happening here. As we start to jump towards the middle, we've got both Tim Drake and Red Hood going up against their respective villains. And of course we've got Insomnia taking on somewhat villain personas for him to take on. And last but not least, we move towards the end of the story, to which, as they finally come out, they decide to work together on a particular mission. For the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story and its racing. So first things first, do we get anything indicating time-wise when this is taking place? No, we don't. The next thing is location. Of course, we get Tim Drake's nightmare. We get Jason Todd, and then whatever is happening in Gotham. The key cast of characters are Tim Drake and Jason Todd. We don't really see Insomnia in here in this, which is slightly disappointing, seeing that he's meant to be like the big bad or one of the big bads in this series, and you'd think that they'd probably do more with the character. For the overall story rating, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Night Terror's Shazam. So, as we jump into Night Terror's Shazam, does this cover in any way, shape, or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? In some essence, it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art as well as what is happening with the characters story-wise. As we look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. So as the story begins for this, we end up having Mary Marvel up against Tef Billy. That's right, Tef Billy, in this particular nightmare of sorts, and she's doing her best to, well, basically stop his attacks on her, plus on the family. As the story continues, we get to see her helping out like other members of the Shazam family, including Freddie Freeman, Eugene, plus Darla and many of the others. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we have all of the members that make up the Shazam family going up against the Tef Adam Insomnia, or Insomnia as Tef Adam, or Tef Billy. For the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first, did we get anything in relation time-wise? No, we didn't. Did we get anything indication location-wise? No, we didn't. Even though we do know it takes part in many of the dreams connected to the members of the Shazam family, or the Marvel family. The next is the cast of characters consisting of Mary Marvel. We had Tef Billy, aka Insomnia. So we know that Insomnia in this particular story also somewhat has the ability to somewhat shapeshift, because of his ability in dreams. We had Darla, Eugene, Freddie Freeman, of course Insomnia, who was Tef Billy once again, and last but not least, Pedro. For the overall story rating in this, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.